Well, good day, YouTube viewers. Today we have a 2015 GMC Sierra. It's a crew cab 4x4. Has to be a 4x4, it's not a real truck. And it's here because it's not running right. Customer said it's running rough. I can feel it shaking. Check engine light is on. Now the customer mentioned that the air filter was compromised by rodents, so there's a possibility we have some rodent damage here. Well, we're bringing it in the shop and put a scanner on it and see what's going on. So this is a new vehicle, in fact a new existing customer, but a new vehicle. We're going to do a network code scan and see what kind of controllers respond and what kind of codes we have. Running lean on both banks. Fuel trim system lean bank 1, fuel trim system lean bank 2. Well, it could have an induction leak. Hmm. 11 controllers so far. 17, 18, 20. Looks like 20 computers responded. So we've just got the P0171, P0174. Now this, being a 2015, would be direct injected, I believe. And it doesn't look like there's any codes in any other controllers. Battery, it's been recently cleared because the catalyst monitors haven't run and the evap system monitor and O2 sensor monitors haven't run. So somebody's cleared the codes or disconnected the battery. So let's have a visual look at the air induction system. So looking at the air induction system, everything looks to be connected. There's no obvious vacuum leaks that I can see. Now I believe he said that there was rodent activity in the air cleaner housing and they chewed through the air filter, so it's possible that the mass airflow sensor could have some dust or dirt or something compromising. So I'm going to look at the freeze frame data for P0174 and see what the fuel trims were doing at the time of that code. Let's see. Both, mind you, this is one snapshot in time, so short-term fuel trim for bank 1 is 30% and long-term fuel trim for bank 1 is 34%, so 64% additional fuel. And bank 2 is 20 and 15, so bank 2 is not quite as bad. Interesting. Let's save this freeze frame data. P0115 EMC P0174 freeze frame. Save this one, exit out. Let's have a look at the other one and see if they're both set at the same time. Some of the newer vehicles and European vehicles will actually put a date time stamp on when this code's set. Now, I'm not. That's weird. Isn't that weird? Let's try that again. Bank 1, freeze frame data. Huh. Isn't that weird? I've never seen that before. It's not populating the data. Let's go back to bank, or let's go back to the first freeze frame record. Yeah, that one worked fine. So the second one might be failure records, and for some reason it didn't populate that correctly. Yeah, okay, well let's have a look at what it's currently running at now. Let's look at data. Fuel data, where's fuel data? Fuel trim data. Let's see if it's currently running lean. Yes, short-term fuel trim on bank 1 is plus 23% and long-term is plus 34%. They're both running lean. So I'm going to have a look at that mass airflow sensor. So this is the MAF sensor right here, and all of the air entering the engine from the air filter must go through this sensor to be measured. So if there's an induction leak in this boot, or I thought it changed the way it ran there when I moved that. I'm going to go and take this off and have a look at the air filter and induction system closer. So that's the mass airflow sensor there, and I don't see anything physically. Oh, wait a minute. Let's get the borescope and have a look. But we're taking the air induction system out and take this inner piece out. I'm going to put a piece of screen over the inlet here to keep rodents out of there, because they have a tendency to climb in and look for a place to nest. Let's get the borescope and have a look here. So looking in there, it appears there's some pieces of tissue paper. Here's the camera. I don't know how well this is going to show up on here. There's a couple pieces of tissue paper around the mass airflow sensor, which would tend to insulate it and make it read less airflow, because it is a hot wire mass airflow sensor. We're going to gently blow that out and reset the fuel trims, put it back together, see how it happens. So that piece of tissue paper is what came out of the mass airflow sensor. So as I mentioned, we're going to put a piece of screen around the inlet here to keep the rodents out of there so they don't do this again in the future. There, that should keep the little varmints out. So this goes back down inside here. And then the air filter housing clips back into these rubber dowels here. Put some silicone grease on them. One of the little plastic ears broke off when I tried to press it because it's brittle, but that doesn't matter. It's not going to make any difference. Once the air cleaner is in housing, lower housing is installed, it can't go anywhere. So we'll put this back together again and reset the fuel trims. So I'm going to go into functional tests and into output controls, and I'm going to reset the fuel trim. Where is it here? Fuel trim reset. Now that doesn't necessarily reset when you clear the codes. Let's see if we can see it. Short term, long term is at 30%. Click reset. Let's check one more time and make sure it went back to 0. Yeah, it did. 30%. Fuel trim memory cell 14. Long-term fuel trim is all zeroed. And we're also going to clear the codes. And we'll look at data, fuel trim data. Start this thing up and see how it runs. It's in closed loop already. That took like all of 10 seconds after starting. And the short-term fuel trim should basically switch back and forth across the 0 line, and the long-term number should be around 0. So we'll let it run for a few minutes. Bank 1 sensor 1 and bank 2 sensor 1. Where's bank 2 sensor 1? Same side. Yeah, these two forward oxygen sensors should be switching between roughly 100 millivolts and 900 millivolts. These ones look like they have a bias voltage on them until it goes into closed loop. Yeah. So we'll let this run for a few minutes. So it's been running now for about 15 minutes. seems to be running just fine. Fuel trims are -2 on bank 2 and -2 on bank 1. That's perfect. Plus or minus 10% is reasonable. I like personally to see it less than 5% either way. Well, we'll call this one fixed. I'm going to take it for a road test, and if there's anything else going on, I'll add to the video. But for now, we'll call this one fixed. Thanks for watching.